What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sikora Success. Today we have Brianna Campo on, who has not been with our team for that long, but is having like a ton of success, right? Like I think you're actually leading our leaderboard this month out of like 42 or 45 agents. So pretty cool. And I know a little bit about your background, but open it up for us. I mean, what made you, what were you doing before real estate? What made you get into it? And we'll take it from there.
Sure. So and thank you for having me today, Brett. I've always had a love for real estate. I grew up in a family. My dad's in construction. My grandparents both were real estate agents. So it's something that I've kind of grown up around, watching him flip houses. I actually went to college. I got a degree in sales and marketing. And I just had the mindset that I would have to go and work for corporate America outside of school. So I went and I had the 9-to-5 sales job where I was essentially knocking on doors. I did that for a few years and I was successful at doing it, but I just felt like in my heart that I wasn't doing something that I loved. And I also didn't feel like I was really helping anyone along the way. And that's something that I was passionate about. So I'm really glad that I was able to take the leap into real estate. So far, it's been really awesome. I've been able to transfer a lot of the negotiation skills into my day to day, and just interacting with clients and keeping a schedule and staying organized. Like all of those things that I learned in corporate America were great, but I really am so happy with the decision that I made to come here.
Awesome. No, and we're certainly happy that we had you here. And you got licensed, like just so everybody's aware, you got licensed, what was it, July or August?
Yeah, so it was pretty much August where I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was going into Staten Island, knocking on doors. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go all in with real estate. I got licensed. I believe the date was September 1st.
And then, so you did, and then from what I know, at least, you were a single agent, and I want to kind of get into some of your struggles. So I don't think you and I met too long after that, but you got into a single agent. I'm guessing you didn't sell 10 homes your first month. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't be in the conversation.
No. As a single agent, so like when you're new in real estate and you know nothing and you really don't know anybody, it's tough. I mean, in any industry, it's tough to start your own business, and that's essentially what you're doing. So yeah, I was on social media reaching out to people, but it was really hard starting off. So I was really just primarily focusing on renters because that's all I felt really confident doing.
Yep.
Because I had no experience working with a buyer, working with a seller. So it wasn't productive. I didn't have anyone to go to when I had a question. I didn't know how to put together contracts. All I had was the skills related to real estate that I learned through my 2-week real estate course, which was not enough.
Yeah. I definitely am not where I am today because of that 2-week real estate course. I didn't learn anything too valuable in there. So then I want to say you and I, Omar was who put, the two of us in contact. He had maybe met you or through a friend of a friend or something like that. But there was he's like, hey, you got to meet her. She's going to do, great things in this business. And then I want to say you joined our team probably like early October, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then from there, piece of cake, or was there still a struggle?
It was a lot of me, and I felt like I had a good grasp on what I was doing in my previous job, and I was the person that everybody would go to when they had a question. And now even still today, I feel like I'm still going and I'm asking rookie questions, but having Omar and James and you to reach out to when I'm with a buyer and I have a quick question, I reach out in Slack, and out of the 40 people, somebody responds in 10 to 15 seconds. It's really awesome to just have that sphere of people that are willing to help.
Yeah. And what I feel like too, what's good about you is, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes in your mind or anything, but I see action. Like you're out there, you're taking action. When I talk to our ISA department that's setting you up with appointments, you're one of their favorite people on the team. And I feel like there's no, a lot of agents, they get into that where they just start overthinking everything. And the reality is you have to, especially if you're already door knocking, you know that you just have to keep like moving. And at the end of it, it's going to create problems and you'll get those problems solved. But like, there's so many agents that I see get stuck on the hypothetical problem that never even comes up. And they try to solve a problem on a client that they don't even have. And they're just stuck in this like weird, area of taking no action. So definitely, hats off to you for actually like just being like, no, I'll take that one. I'll do this one. I'll do that one. I'll do that one. Boom, 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 boom. And then sure enough, like 45 days later, it just popped, and from what I see, you're on the leaderboard with 4 under contract in December. Have there been more since Darren's last email on Friday?
Yeah, I have 6 under contract right now. So it's all starting to snowball, and I knew that was going to happen. And to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, like I learn by experiencing things, and I'm not afraid of falling on my face. And I'm starting to kind of learn that like nobody really expects you to know everything. Like regardless of how much I know, which is not everything, and I'm still new and I'm still learning, I still know more than my buyers. And if I don't know the answer, as long as I'm responsive and I get them what they need to know, like they love that. Like it's all about communication and just being on top of your business and communicating and being available. And like these people are willing to work with you again and again and refer their friends and family. And it's really awesome.
Yeah, and it's so simple too. Like I have like my main thing, and I was talking on a mastermind yesterday, is I'm just always let down by so many other people. Like if I didn't have to deal with other people, other realtors and stuff, like my life would be incredible. Unfortunately, we do. And there's 2 parties to a lot of these scenarios, a lot of these transactions that we do. But even like saying, hey, listen, at 7 o'clock at night, hey, I left the realtor a voicemail at 2. I texted him at 4, still no response. I'm going to call him again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And then you're texting your clients and they're just like, I appreciate the update. That's it.
Right.
It's like, you don't have to get the information to them right away. It's like, you have to let them know that you're doing what you said you were going to do. And people are super patient. What's interesting too about this business is like, as you do it more and more and more, you get to the point where every problem a person is going to have throughout a transaction. So I always like, there's so many times that I'll shoot somebody a text or I'll do this and they'll be like, we were actually just about to reach out to you. And I'm like, I know, because that's what humans do. It's like you start to be like, oh, I haven't heard from that person for 48 hours. Let me see what happened with the home inspection or something like that. So at any rate, cool. I mean, so is it 6 all in December, or did you get a couple of stick at the end of November?
All December.
Cool. So you're pacing.
I was kind of still working on the renters in November, and obviously it takes some time to get offers accepted in this market. So yeah, they were all in December. It kind of all happened like at the same time.
So you're pacing, what is that? What's 6 times 12? Is that 72?
Yeah.
So you're pacing 72 transactions by the end of November of 2022 right now. That's the, and obviously I don't know, things fall apart and stuff like that, or you go on vacation and it throws it off. But what are the goals? What do you want to do in 2022? Like inspire some of the new people here.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had 6 transactions that are happening in December. So I obviously don't want to go to the next month with a lesser goal for myself. So, I mean, obviously I'm going to try to shoot for the 72, but if I could increase that, that's awesome. But for me right now, I think it's more about building my brand and building my foundation. I'm learning that the industry is huge, but you run into the same people all the time. So it's really just networking with other agents, learning who the listing agents are in my particular area, getting to know the appraisers and the inspectors and the contractors in the area so that I can be an expert. Those are the things that I'm really focusing on, because without a good foundation, you can't build anything. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on right now.
Yeah, and that's such a huge part of it too. Like being able to, if there's an issue with an inspection and the inspector, like if you're on the listing side and the inspector quite well, you're kind of like, Sam, what the hell? What happened here? What do I need to know so that I can? And there's so many deals that blow up as they go on because a real estate agent isn't responding in the way that she needs to or he needs to, or a home inspector or an appraiser even, or a lender screws something up. So having those relationships certainly makes like such a big difference, being able to make sure that things get to the closing table, because that's really the name of the game. Like you want your client to be able to get there. And obviously, on our side of things, it's not over till it's over. So closings are where it's at. So yeah, next thing, I mean, if you were to give, an agent, whether they're new or experienced, like what is some feedback or some things that they could like immediately implement to follow, the success that you've already had in the short amount of time you've been in the business?
Yeah, so there's a few things. I would say one, join a team. You need to have a network of people who are willing to help you out when you're first starting off, especially if you're not familiar with the industry. Joining the team has been the best thing for me. Even just to have people to call when I'm having a rough day, like things like that are important in my life. The other thing is take every single appointment, every single buyer, every single experience, and really try to like sharpen the knife every single time that you meet with them. You're going to learn something new through every single transaction. So like if somebody asks you a question on a listing appointment or in a buyer's appointment, just kind of take that as a learning experience rather than just brushing over it, because the more that you are actually teaching yourself and learning and retaining, the better off that you're going to be. So and just get out there, like make sure that you're putting in the time when you're first starting off. Like I'm not taking any days off right now because I just feel like I need to run and build my foundation. So just be ready to grind.
Yeah, no, that's actually Goldfarb always makes fun of me. I'm like the last to go on vacation, and I always have been that way because I'm almost like I'm addicted to work. I'll straight up say it. I cannot like relax. I can relax for like 2 or 3 days, but I see a lot of new agents that I'll come in and I'll coach, and I'll be like, and they'll be like, I'm going to Miami, I'm doing this, I'm going to Atlanta, I'm blah, blah, blah. And like they're just constantly doing something. I'm like, why don't you say I'm going to get X amount under contract by the end of April, and then I'm going to go on an extravagant vacation and I'm going to chill out for 10 days. I'm going to go to Greece. I'm going to do, but like, it's tough to really get momentum when you're away every other weekend doing, and I get it if you have weddings and all that stuff, which I went through that, but like, it's like set a goal around it where you're like, I'm going to absolutely grind from now until May 1st. And then I am checking out for 2 weeks, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to grind again till September 30th. And then I'm checking out again and blah, blah, blah. So no, it's definitely like reward yourself with time off once you've put in the work. And what's cool about you too, I feel like you're focusing on transactions as opposed to like being picky over the client. And I find so many agents too are like, I don't want that buyer, I don't want this. I'm like, one of my first deals ever was on a street that I was scared shitless to be on in Jersey City for $30,000. And you guys can go into my Zillow and pull it back. It was 115 Van Horn, which is now an incredible block and probably worth 450,000. But back then it hadn't really gentrified yet. So it was dicey, but I was taught that get the transactions under your belt first, because if you become automatic at 72 transactions per year, it's so easy for you to elevate your price point at that point. It's like if you can get into the bandwidth of, and the same thing of like your last sales, I'm sure it was like, if you could do this, 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 and this, and that just became a robotic habit of like what you were doing, then you just make decisions within that business. You don't have to necessarily sell more than 72 homes. If you're selling 72 homes at $1 million on an average price point or something, that's like an insane year. So it all adds up, and yeah, I mean, it's just, it's been so cool to watch, what it is you're doing here. So service areas, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, where do you like doing deals? I know you're probably going a little further right now than you normally would, but
yeah.
Where's your coverage area?
So right now I'm primarily covering parts of Hudson County, a lot in Bergen County I'm comfortable with. I know the area very well, and parts of Essex County as well.
Okay. Very cool. And then also too, if anybody on the real estate side of things, realtor wise, if they wanted to get in touch with you, so whether a client or realtor, what's a good way to reach out to you?
So I would say the best way to reach out to me is on my cell phone, 862-228-1989. Again, that's 862-228-1989.
Awesome. I appreciate you being on. Any last thoughts or?
No, I just appreciate the opportunity to hop on, and it's been a really awesome road so far, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Awesome.
So thank you for
Definitely.
having me.